push your luck enthusiasts.
My name is Jared, and with me are my two travel partners, Faith and Joy.
Hi.
Hello there.
We will be your hosts for the episode.
We're honored and grateful that you have joined us at our table.
Here at the Game Table Podcast, we take a look at various board, card, and other tabletop games. We give an overview, provide a little insight on how to play, and share some of our thoughts, all in an attempt to give you an idea how well it fit for you and your table.
Today, we'll be looking at
Tsuro, designed by Tom McMurchie. Artwork created by Kathy Brigg, Andrew Hepworth, Shane Small, Imelda Vowinkle, and Franz Vowinkle. Hey, Vowinkle is a very fun name, okay? And published by Calliope Games.
Yeah, out of a few of those, I actually almost laughed so much.
Oh my goodness.
A few of those I tried to change my laugh into a cough.
That's funny.
You guys are so silly. Later, we will be looking at
Skyjo, designed by Alexander Bernhardt, and artwork also by Alexander Bernhardt.
And published by Magellano.
Wait, are we recording?
We are.
Oh.
Both of these quick games are 2 to 8 player count, family friendly, and super fun. We'll talk about Tsuro first, then we'll talk about Skyjo. Let's head on over to the table and discuss.
Okay.
Wait a second, I just have one question.
Okay.
Are we doing it at the same table?
At the same table.
How are we doing at the same table?
Well, we're going to play one game. Then we're going to clean it up, which I know neither of you know nothing about.
But how are we playing it at the same table as the other podcast?
Then,
Because
nope. Because see, what's going to happen is we're going to clean up the game, and then we're going to get a new game.
How are we going to do that?
We're going to clean
What are you
it
guys
up.
talking about? We're just going to play one game at a time, and we're going to talk about one game at a time. So first, we're going to talk about Tsuro.
Then
Then
we're going to play
talk
it.
about.
Then we're going to talk about Skyjo.
And then we're going to play them both?
We'll see.
It's simple.
We'll see
I'm
what time it
confused.
is or if it's bedtime. I know. So first, I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
And we'll let Joy go first.
Since she's younger.
Joy, what is the luckiest that you have ever felt?
Well, I felt pretty lucky when I turned 7
Why is that?
because back at the podcast when we did Nana, the number that I really thought to was the 7.
Yep.
And when I turned 7, I just felt really lucky.
You're channeling the power of 7.
Yeah.
Refer back to the podcast when we did Nana.
Nice.
Or Nana.
So, what happened in this game of Nana where you were trying to channel the power of 7s?
I was trying to find all of them. So one time it was really funny because my aunt was she had all 3 7s for her highest card.
Whoa.
And she was like, I'll go first. And then she just placed down all 3 7s.
But how does that make you lucky?
That makes me lucky because I don't know how it makes me lucky.
You were channeling the power of 7s, it just went to the wrong place.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
It just went to the wrong
She
person.
could have said, you go first. And then you could have said, okay. Glory has card. Glory has card. Glory has card.
Well, yeah, I could have done that.
That would have been crazy lucky.
But I see through some cards, but I can't see through all cards.
I don't know what you're talking about right now. Are you saying you can literally see through the cards?
Well, when I was playing Skyjo, I was on somebody's team.
Yeah.
And they asked me to flip over a card, and I flipped over a -2.
Whoa, that's so good.
Because I could literally, see through the card.
That's incredible. I don't know. I mean, if you can actually do that, I'll be mind blown.
I know, I can.
Wow. I don't know if I can play cards with you anymore because you'll just see all the cards.
Well,
Well, I can only see that I could only see that -2.
Oh, the special one. What about you, Faith? When have you felt lucky?
Before I say that,
Oh, you have something else.
Yeah.
I wish we could go back in time so that we could not let Joy have vision therapy, because that's how she was able to see the most Easter eggs at Easter and now is able to see through cards.
Well, there you go, folks. Props to Vision Therapy for making Joy Superman.
That's funny.
Faith, when have you been lucky? When have you felt the most lucky in your life?
Do you not know? Or
You said you had an answer.
Yeah.
Everything.
Tell me more.
Like, what was this? Well,
Pick one moment.
Yeah.
One moment.
pick one day or one moment.
You guys, this is the hardest thing for Faith to do in her entire life, is choose. Oh,
yeah, when
she
it
died.
comes to
All right, this is a terrible question. So let's move on. What about
Yeah, okay,
what
when I
is?
got roller skates.
Ooh, that's a good one. What is one of your favorite paths that you've traveled?
So one day I prayed and I was like, "Hey God, I just like you to make this day good and just bless me in what I do." And so God answered my prayer. And I literally I didn't make any mistakes.
Wow, that
That
was
day.
one heck of a path that day.
I know.
That's awesome. What about you, Faith?
Mine is only 4 words.
What is it?
When I got baptized.
Okay. So we're going with a more metaphorical path, which actually makes sense now that we think about it, because you're kind of going on a somewhat spiritual path in Tsuro as you try and stay on the board. So I'll dig it. I like it. All right, so let's talk about these games. First, we're going to talk about Tsuro. So in Tsuro, the whole point of the game is to stay on the board and to be the last one on the board at the end of the game. At the end of any given turn, if you're the only one on the board, you win. The way it works, it's a 6x6 grid in which each player is going to place a rock-like token with a dragon on it on the outside of the board. There'll be various hash marks. You pick one of those hash marks to be your starting point. Doesn't matter where, you can be anywhere around the outside of the board. Then, everyone has tiles in their hand. And the way it works is on your turn, you're going to place one of these tiles. They have multiple different paths that are going all different directions. And one of those paths is going to line up with your hash mark. Now, depending on which one you choose, you're going to get sent in a different direction along the board. And as you play more of these tiles, which you'll do round over round, you'll continue to move farther along the board. Additionally, as the game starts to progress, other people might play tiles that move your stone in addition to their stone. You always have to make sure your stone moves, but sometimes it will move another stone as well. And
Well,
not
then
only...
what does that mean? You can't be on the same tile?
Not usually, but sometimes it does work that way. So if you end up on the same tile, then either you or the other player is going to end up moving both of you because they're going to play something that's going to line up next to both hash marks, right?
Yeah.
So then, not only do you move to the end of that tile, but if that tile is connected to another tile, you keep going until you get to the end of that path. And sometimes that path leads you off the board. Sometimes that path leads you running into another player's piece. If either of these things happen, you are eliminated from the game. The game lasts about 15 to 20 minutes. So even though there is player elimination, it's something that's a pretty quick turnaround, and then it's a pretty easy setup to start again if that's something that you're interested in. One more thing that I'll mention in the how to play, there is a limited number of tiles. So you will fill up the board, but there will always be one space left over, and that space, typically, the game is over or it will be decided on that play. So there's lots of different combinations, and there's actually different versions of this game, but I'm partial to the original. So with that, we'll discuss it.
Okay, let's go.
Faith, what's one of your favorite things about this game?
I really like the stones. How it's your ability to move around the board, and it's your choice what tile you want to pick.
Mm-hmm.
Your choice which
So
tile.
are you saying you like the pieces, or you like the way that the
I like
stones
the
move around the
choice.
board?
I like the choice
The choice
that
of...
you have.
Nice. Yeah, there's lots of choices on any given tile, right? Because you can rotate the tile. There's lots of different lines on that tile. And your decision can go a number of different ways. And you kind of have to keep adjusting that decision turn over turn because the board's changing because other people are also making their choice, right?
Yep.
Cool. Joy, what about you? What's one of your favorite things?
I like the tile.
Tell me more.
I just like the artwork in the game. I think it's really like complicated and really pretty. I just really like that.
Nice. I think that's really cool. I also, I agree with you. I think the artwork is really fun. It's very simple, but it's got kind of a fun quirkiness to the different pieces and the ways that they're shaped. And you can kind of get lost in wanting to make your guy go a certain way and kind of get distracted from your overall strategy. Do you girls find this game easy to learn and easy to play?
Yeah, very.
No, I don't.
You think it's pretty easy to pick up?
Yep.
And do you ever get bored, or do you feel like the games are pretty quick?
I feel like the games are pretty quick.
What do you think, Joy?
Sometimes if like people know which path they're gonna go, like before they move their stone or like place the tile, that they like line the tile up but don't place it, and then like they'll know where they're gonna go. And so sometimes it takes a really long time, and when it takes a really long time, I kind of get bored. Because, like, I'm winning and other people are just losing, and so it really gets bored to me.
Do you think that what I think I hear you saying is that sometimes people overthink their turns and they spend a lot of time thinking about it while you're like, come on, let's go. We know what we're doing already.
Yeah.
That makes sense. There is a little bit of thinking because of all the different choices that you have on the tiles.
Thinking is my specialty.
Nice. But I do think that also adds to the game too, in that you've got that trade-off of players might think for a minute, but it also gives you the opportunity to have a lot of different choices in what you're doing. Joy, you're 7 years old. You just turned 7, like you mentioned. Do you feel like this is a game that you can play pretty easily? Yeah?
Yeah.
Even though it's age for 8+.
Yeah, so it's rated for 8+, but I would say even Hope knows how to play this game pretty well, right?
And she's almost 5, but she's 4 right now. So.
That's right.
And I'm almost 9. And this seems like a piece of cake.
One of the things that I like is that it goes up to 8 players, but also goes pretty quick. And so since we're a 5-person family, having games like this that we can mix in while we're playing other games too is a nice addition. Or if we just want to play something really quick before we go to bed or before dinner or whatever it may be, this is an easy one to pull out.
Or it's also really easy if, say, us 3 are doing a podcast together. So then Mom and Hope need to play a game. They can pull it out on the shelf and do a really quick game.
That's true.
And maybe even get to play more rounds.
Now I would say,
we're talking about it.
That's right. That's right. Now, would you girls say it's a pretty different game at 8 versus at 2?
I like it more like 5 or 6 players, because then the board's like medium and it isn't so cramped.
But there's also still some competition
4.
to where...
Yeah, and you could get knocked off the board more. You could run into people more.
Makes sense.
But I still like it.
4 is my lucky number. I love 4 or 5 because it just feels like... Because at 8... I mean, I can't even imagine how cramped 8 would be. It'd be like 2 different people on each side.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have one person place down a tile. And say you're like the last person, you have to wait like a long time, first of all. And second of all, there's a lot more chances that other people are just going to be knocking off and you're just going to be sitting here going around your own business. While and you're just going to get bored. Yeah. There's a chance you're just going to get bored if there's 8.
I don't think it's... Well, I see what you're saying with the potential downtime.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, like with 5 or 4, though, you have like a pretty good balance of it's obvious for you to get knocked off the board, but it's also obvious that you're just going to be walking around without it. So that's why I like 5 or 4.
That makes sense. It's a nice middle ground. I think I agree with both of you. That 5-player count is pretty fun. I also like it at the higher player count because it gets kind of crazy with 8 players. But I agree that it does take a little bit of time to come back around to your turn, and the board is completely different. And at 2-player count, I would say at 2 players, the game doesn't really get going for a little while because you're pretty much on opposite sides of the board. So you kind of have to find your way to the middle, and then there's just a little bit of interaction. It can be okay, but definitely prefer those higher counts. With that said, Joy, what would you rate Tsuro?
I'll do it 1 thumb up.
1 thumb up? So it's pretty good, but it's not your favorite?
Actually, no. I'll give it 1 thumb in the side. I kind of like it. I kind of don't. I don't know which one I like it more.
So it's an okay game.
Yeah, it's an okay.
All right, that's fair. What about you, Faith?
I know I do this for like every single game unless I like totally don't like the game, but I love this game a lot. I think it's so easy to pick up.
Yeah.
I give it 2 thumbs up because I think that this game is just a super easy game. I don't play it very much. That's why I really look forward to playing it again because I love this game.
So you feel like you wish that we played it more?
I wish that we played it more, yeah, because I feel like I like it because sometimes I'm like, right before dinner, I'm like, hey, Mom, I really want to get a game in right now. Can we do it? And Mom is always like, no, we're getting ready for dinner. I'm sorry. We don't have a quick enough game to do that. That's why I really like this game is because one of those times I could say, hey, me and my sisters maybe want to play, what's this game? What is it called? Do maybe me and my sisters want to play Tsuro before dinner? Since it's really quick, and with 3 players, then it'll probably be easy. And then we'll have a much better chance of getting to do it, especially on school days.
That's a good point. I hadn't thought about that, but this is definitely a game that you girls can play without pretty much any adult supervision, and I think you'd do a really good job with it.
That's why I would give it 2 thumbs up.
Nice. I think I want to give this 2 thumbs up as well. It's not like my favorite game in the entire world, but I do think for what it is trying to do, it does it very well, and I love it as a filler game. I've held on to it for years. It's been in my collection for a very long time. And I'm glad that, Joy, you at least think it's okay. And Faith, I'm glad that you really like it. So with that said, are we ready to talk about Skyjo?
Yes!
Nice. So, Skyjo. Skyjo is a relatively simple card game where you have 12 cards in front of you that are face down. It's placed in a 3x4 grid. You turn up 2 cards to start, and it can be any 2 cards that you want. On your turn, you take the top card of the deck or discard pile. You can exchange that card with either a hidden card or a face-up card that's already in your display. The round ends when one player has only face-up cards, and all cards will be revealed by all players at that point. You add up the number of cards and then score. The game is over once one player has reached 100 points, and you want to have the lowest score. Now, it's pretty straightforward. You're selecting some cards, and you're going to discard some cards. But one of the special rules to kind of help eliminate some points is if you ever have 3 cards that are the same in the same column, then you get to remove all of those cards. And as your little display gets smaller, obviously you're going to have less points. The game also plays 2 to 8 and plays in relatively short fashion as well. I believe this one is 15 to 45 minutes, depending on how the cards fall. So with that, we will discuss Skyjo.
Woohoo!
Joy, what is your favorite part about Skyjo?
I like the cards.
What about the cards?
Well, I like scoring.
Yeah? You like being able to see through the cards with your Superman vision?
Yeah. I also like scoring because then you can know if you're closer to winning or not.
That makes sense. Do you like... Well, first, Faith, what do you like most about the game?
Like Joy said, I do like scoring, but I like scoring at the end of the game, but I also like, even if other people don't like do this, I like scoring during the game. Like scoring, how much will my points be if I kept these cards? how much would this be like keeping track of my cards? And I didn't enjoy doing mental math in my head when scoring. Yeah, and it helps me decide, do I want to place this card? Do I want to take this card out? What would happen if I took out a face card? Blah, on and on and on.
Do you ever try to keep up with what other people where their points are at? Or do you just focus on your own?
Not really. I don't really feel like I need to concern on anybody else.
Yeah. Joy, do you like the fun colors on the cards?
Yes, I love them. I like how each section of numbers has a different color. Like high numbers are red, medium colors are yellow, and then some low colors are green, and then the negative numbers are dark blue.
Nice. That's very observant, Joy. That's awesome.
Or purple, and then the 0 is blue.
Yep. Did you figure that out all by yourself?
No, I'm just with my eyes. I'm just seeing the top of the box now.
You have the best eyes in the whole wide world, Joy. That's all there is to it. You girls play this with Granddaddy a lot. Do you like playing it with family?
Yeah, I actually do.
Yeah? And you like being on teams with people?
Yeah.
I like having people around because it gives you more of a contest.
When you say having people around, are you saying on your team?
No, I'm not saying on a team. I love playing by myself.
Yeah, when there's other... Okay, I see what you're saying.
When there's other people playing, I really
But you want to play by yourself.
I want to play by myself, but when there's other people playing, I feel like there's more of a competition.
Yep.
But I also am totally fine if it's me and then Granddaddy playing together, just me and him.
Just the two of you?
Just two. I'm totally fine with people playing around me, and yeah. But I also am okay if there's just one person and then me playing together, just competing.
Yeah, this is interesting, right? Because I think this is one of those games that it plays up to 8, but I really kind of feel, in a way, I feel like it kind of loses some of its value once you cross 4 or 5, because it just becomes, you're waiting so long to get back around to your turn for something that's so simple, and you kind of get a better experience at 3 or 4. But on the flip side, when we have a big family outing, having the ability to get 8 people around the table is really nice.
Yeah, I do agree with you about having the big family part. Thinking about it, I really do like having a higher player count as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because it makes it a higher competition, and I just really like it being a higher competition. I don't really know how other people would view that or anything, but I really like a higher competition.
Joy, do you have anything that you don't like about this game?
I don't know. I don't think I don't like anything about this game.
And you feel like it's pretty easy to understand?
Yeah, but when I was first starting this game, I felt that it was kind of complicated. But now, I feel like that it's really easy to learn.
Cool.
When I play it with other people that have never played this, they're to me, Joy, have you played this game before? And I'm like, yeah, I have. It's super easy.
That's awesome. Okay. Faith, you've also already told us that you feel like you understand this game really well. And do you ever get bored playing this game?
No.
Okay. And, for me, this is one of those games that falls in an interesting space where it's mostly luck. There's a little bit of skill involved, but you're mostly just, trying to see. It's mostly, so it's luck based in that you're mostly just selecting a card to flip over to see if it's better or worse than what you chose to keep. And there's some choice in that, and that's fine. But it's interesting because it's one of those games that I've seen it work so well in a family environment, and you just kind of chalk it up to, it's not the greatest game in the world, but from an experience standpoint, I think it works really well for a family atmosphere. So from that perspective, I would highly recommend it. So I'll go ahead and say first that I think that I'm going to give Skyjo 1 thumb up. I think it is great for families. I think it's a fun little quick filler activity that has a little bit of choice in it, and it's definitely got a push your luck element, and there are some fun laugh out loud moments for that.
And you don't even have to use a table for this. You can pack it in a purse and bring it to a restaurant and play it.
Yeah, you could. I mean, I think it would be... You would need a good-sized table. So if you're going to like a small cafe, it'd be difficult because everyone needs a little bit of space. But it's just cards. So yeah, I agree with you that you could definitely do that. Faith, what do you rate this game?
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up again?
I love it.
Nice.
Well, it's like my style of game because it's like a thinking game, but also a processing game at the same time.
Okay. Very cool. Joy, what about you?
I'll give this game a 1 thumb up.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I don't really like it with small amounts of people. Because then if there's more people, then you can, if they place down, a -2, that if they place down a -2 for a 0,
Mm-hmm.
then, and it's my turn after, then I would, really like that -2.
Okay.
And, if there's more people, there's more opportunities that I can get more cards.
Makes sense.
I
Makes
really
sense.
understand that because I'm having a memory right now of our big family, the big midget family gathering,
Mm-hmm.
and I have a memory of aunts and uncles and grandmas and grandpas gathered around the table. And then there was this one point when Aunt Grace picked up a card and placed it down and picked up a -2. And then somebody else took it right out of her hand, and this went on for 5 people. And this went on for 5 people because everybody kept getting rid of the cards that they needed until finally somebody took a 0 and got rid of a 11. And then it
Nice.
stopped.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. Awesome. Well, girls, thank you so much for joining me today. And thank you to all of our listeners for joining us as well. If you have feedback or want to give us your thoughts on the game or other game, we would love to hear from you.
Both games.
All of our links are in the description. Please check us out there, and we'll be happy to engage in the conversation. Special thanks to Angie Santiago for her cover art, to Anna Snyder, who made the intro and outro music, and to Alexi Chistelin for the How to Play background music. Join us tomorrow for a very special bonus episode, and again next week as Ian and I head back over to the feature table. In the meantime, may your dice rolls and your card draws be blessed, and your experiences at the table be ones to remember forever.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.